Happy New Year. It is 2025 and I'd like to show you my poetry calendar. Ta-da! So this is a printable, downloadable poetry calendar. And I had you guys, or my viewers, both on YouTube and a little on Instagram, I think, help me decide which cover was best. And I appreciated those that voted on my community post. It was in the beginning 100% voted for this cover, but then it became 80%, 20% the other cover. But I am thankful to have your help with me deciding the cover. I do like it because this illustration, I did that. So it's a picture of myself, and then I turned it into an illustration. And that you can find in my poetry book, Stay at Home Cause for Poetry. And so I'm excited to share the poetry calendar with you. If you don't know, I've been doing this for 3 years. This is the third year. The first year, it was me doing it on a whim, so it was totally for myself, the poetry calendar. The second time around in 2020, I guess it would be 2024, I was trying to promote it so that you can also be a part of the journey, but I wasn't doing it well, so it still was kind of just for me. But this year, I'm trying to make it more connected so that you understand like how this poetry calendar is for you as well as for myself and what you can take from it. So that is why I'm sharing more about it. Each month I will share the poem so you can have it too. It's on my website, DesireeStories.com. It is $5. You can have it as a wallpaper. You can have it as a printable thing to put on your actual wall. You could put it on your fridge. It is whatever your comfort is to have this poetry calendar, just to think about something throughout the week. Which brings me to, so that was the cover, and then if we flip it, it says more about it, so I'll read it. This calendar is derived from Desirae Moden's poetry collection, Stay at Home Cause for Poetry. Excerpts from her poems guide you through each month. This 2025 calendar will consist of poems that are thought-provoking, honest, and at times heavy. Hope is always woven into each poem as encouragement and a push towards change. As a bonus, you can purchase the poetry collection as a paperback or ebook to match the excerpt to the full poem. So the poems you will see in this calendar are just excerpts. They're like snippets. They're not the full poem. So if you'd like to read the full poem, you can find that in my poetry book. And I did add some lines for the poetry calendar, and you may not see those lines in the poetry book because you'll see these poems without the full context of the book. I wanted to weave hope in sooner, I guess you could say, or weave some encouragement, some change, some thought-provoking lines in sooner because you don't have the full book in front of you. And because this is going month by month, I want you to be able to take something away, to think about something throughout the month, and something to encourage you throughout each month. So that's why I added a line. I don't think I added to every poem. There may be 3 poems that I didn't add a line to, but majority of them, they did get an extra line in order to encourage, to push, to motivate you. So yeah. Thank you for purchasing this calendar if you do choose to, and I'm wishing you well in 2025. So without further ado, I am calling these videos for each month Poetry Class with Desirae. So even though it is about my poems, other poems might come up, or I might think of just other types of poetry styles. And so I thought it would be fun to call this Poetry Class with Desirae. So let's read the poem for January. Drum roll, please. Let me show you. This is what it looks like. And each month, so it alternates between blue, and then I'll show you a sneak peek into February without you seeing it. And then I'll just show it upside down. And this is February, so it alternates between the colors. All right, let's read January. You're all talk and no improvement. You're all talk and no change. You're all talk and no movement. Improve, change, and move from this. So, fun fact, that is, besides the last line, that is actually how I start my poetry book. I say these lines because I felt that's what I was doing. I was all talk and no improvement, no change, no movement. I was just talking about what I want to do for like my career as an author, but I wasn't taking action. And so I did finally take action in 2020 and 2021. And I wanted to reflect on that and to call myself out because I wanted to be brutally honest with myself and how I was feeling in order to grow from it. And so that's why my last line says, improve, change, and move from this, because we are able to. I was able to. I wrote a whole poetry collection based on not only how I wasn't working towards my author goals, but also how I felt like I was holding my voice back, how I wasn't embracing all of myself. And so I decided to work on that. And the first step was exploring it through poetry, and I made a collection out of it. And so thinking about it for January, because we're in the month of January, it is January 5th, 2025, and thinking about this poem, let me read it one more time. You're all talk and no improvement. You're all talk and no change. You're all talk and no movement. Improve, change, and move from this. So what first comes up is resolutions, and how New Year or just January in itself is resolutions are encouraged. And I want to say maybe I've always not done resolutions, but that may not be true. But I know like from college to now, I have not been doing resolution. Maybe like some goals, but mainly it's just like, okay, it's a new year. Let's see what the new year brings. And what I found in 2020, maybe 2021, maybe 2022, just from watching other writers and authors on YouTube, I found that making goals for each month, which is why I made my planning for the year. If you do not know, I have a free downloadable planning for the year worksheet, which each month I just write what my goals are in the sense of for my career, for life, just life goals that I have related to like my family or house things or health things, and then for budgeting. And so I print 3 different worksheets to focus on for my author career, for my life, and for budgeting. And I write in that what I want for January. And then by the time January ends, I check off what I was able to do, and I make an X, or I make a half a point if I did half but not the full goal, or I exit if I didn't do it at all. And maybe sometimes I'll move it to February, or I'll just see what do I need for February as a goal. And so I like that better. That has been helping me. I've been doing it, I believe, for 2 years, could be 3. And so I'm still doing it this year. And so thinking about how New Year is encouraged about resolutions, I feel like it is that pressure of change, of improvement, of just doing more. But it's also like, how are you going to actually implement it? And so I guess my poem, if you take it this way, is an encouragement to actually do the change, actually do the movement, actually improve in whatever way you are capable at this time. And if it's easier to take it month by month instead of for the whole year I hope to work out, or for the whole year I hope to write, for the whole year I would drink water, but it's like how? So like take it month by month, or maybe that's too much and you want to take it week by week. Whatever encourages you and helps you, that is what is important. And so I do think something that I'm taking away from this poem is how will I actually implement the change I want to see, the improvement I want to see, the movement I want to do. Because I do need to exercise more, or at least stretch more. And I like to do that through dance. So I could watch YouTube videos that are focused on dancing, that are focused on choreography and me learning a choreography, that is just focused on some movement. It could be walking, because there are YouTube videos that can just encourage me walking in place or walking around, using certain steps for a certain amount of time, and that is still beneficial. And stretching, I want to stretch. Stretching is important, and I talk about it, but do I do it a lot? No. And so I need to work on doing that. And so, yeah, that's something I take away from this poem. Again, the other thing I take away is that it sounds harsh at first. It sounds kind of just like it hits you, it hurts you, of how it's like, kind of like I said, I was calling myself out. So it's like calling us out. Like, are we actually just all talk, or actually are we doing things? But then I think of Kate Emmons, she's K.A. Emmons on her YouTube channel. And I love what she said, how we are human beings, not human doings. So it is important to remember that we can't do too much, but we do have to do the right amount, I guess, because we want to be in this world and be ourselves, embrace who we are, embrace what we want to do, embrace our goals. So it's to be a part of this world, doing what we enjoy, doing what we need to do to protect ourselves, protect our families, but also be who we have to be to connect to the world around us, to connect to community, to connect to nature. And so it's interesting of how do we be instead of do, when there seems like maybe there's pressure more on doing versus being. And how do we, you could say, level it out and find a balance, but some people may say it's better to be than to do. So I don't know. For me, I guess right now, the stage I'm at is to find a level, to find a balance, not to do being overdoing, and not to do doing over being, because I don't want to do so much and not take care of myself. But it's finding that balance. And so, yeah, that's interesting thought that came to mind. So definitely let me know what you take away from this poem. Maybe you were inspired to write a poem this month. You can share that in the comments, or just letting me know. Thank you so much for watching. Definitely check back in February to see what February's poem is. Or if you purchase my calendar, we can view it together, and you can tell me what came up for you when you flip to February next month. So thank you so much for watching, and don't forget, just write your story, and take care. Thank you for joining my poetry class today. I'll see you in February.